Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Tea, Timtams and Travel with me, Nabeel from Rihaala, and Elena, the Muslim Travel Girl. Good morning, Elena.
Hello, Nabeel. How are you today?
Not too bad. Not too bad. So today we're having a chat about Umrah travel, and Umrah travel has changed so much in the last 6 weeks to 8 weeks. I mean, Elena, do you want to maybe take us back to the beginning and what happened a few weeks ago?
I mean, the beginning was fantastic and everything was looking bright and nice.
It was.
And we had the tourist visa for Umrah. So now it was easy to travel. And alhamdulillah, I did an Umrah, and the Umrah visa was brilliant experience. No issues whatsoever. You just walk through, they check you, they're smiley, they're polite. I feel like from the last time I went for Umrah to now, which was 2 years ago, I think, people have become nicer in a way. You're
one of the first. I remember you went just after the visa was announced, wasn't it?
Yeah, I issued the visa the same day that it was announced, and I issued it on my own as a female, just so I can see that actually you can issue a visa. And since then, many females have been on their own, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And mashallah, like everything's been very good. I mean, Saudis did a Saudization of the hospitality industry, so a lot of the reception and communication stuff, they're all Saudis, and they're very well trained, because on this Umrah we also stayed in Jeddah, and it was like we had a great experience at the Intercontinental Jeddah on customer service from Saudis, which was amazing. And unfortunately, things have changed now.
Very much so.
And I hope, it's a very temporary thing, but obviously the whole world is on shutdown. So Umrah is shut down, and they shut down initially just for tourists incoming. Then they shut down for locals. Then they shut down for the GCC. So at the moment that we've seen all these photos, Umrah is shut. And I don't know what you think. What do you think? I personally, in my opinion, the way we're going, very much doubt we're going to have. I was planning a Ramadan in Mecca. I don't envision this happening, and I'm starting to kind of get worried about the Hajj season as well.
I think Ramadan is probably not going to happen for most pilgrims that want to travel. There might be a very small amount of people that will be allowed locally that can go, and I think that's going to be similar for Hajj. I think for Hajj, it's going to be a GCC Hajj potentially. It could potentially be the neighboring countries that will be able to come over, potentially driving rather than flying, to avoid any or to contain, or at least control the visitors coming in. And I think it's going to be a very surreal few months coming up. And if you're lucky enough to be going for Hajj, it's going to be relatively quiet.
I know, right? I should have made dua to, like, I don't know, be in Saudi Arabia and just be able to go for Hajj with less people, subhanAllah. But I think it's important to keep healthy. And I don't know, I would love to see your perspective on that. But I know Rihaala does Umrah packages as well, and I've written about them before, of like how you can put packages together. But a lot of their bookings and a lot of their kind of business. And my question will be like, what happens with those people who have actually paid for packages? So I assume they're ATO protected?
Yep. Well, it depends. I mean, if they've booked through an ATO protected agent like ourselves, then they have the financial protection that if we as a company fail, inshallah that won't happen. But if that happens, then money is safe. But also the fact that if they can't travel due to travel restrictions, then we are able to then either provide them with an alternative date of travel, which is the current advice coming out of a lot of the travel industry now, or alternatively a refund if that travel is not possible. And and that would be an example of that would be for Hajj. Hajj is set time. You can't move that. You can't go for Hajj 2 months later. So in that sense, it would have to be a refund because the travel cannot actually happen. But I think a lot of people that had booked to travel in, say, late February, early March, were really affected by this because they weren't sure whether the flights were running, they weren't sure whether they're going to be allowed in, they weren't sure what was happening with the visas, and then overnight we had all the visas stopped in effect. Overnight. So we've gone from having very open access to for Umrah travel to very restricted. And how do you think what's happening now and what's happened over the last 6 weeks will affect the tourist visa going forward? Do you think there will be potential changes in that? Do you reckon it will come back in its original form?
So I really, really hope that it doesn't affect it, and I pray that it doesn't. From what I know, and from all the contacts and information I have on Umrah, Saudi 2030 vision is about tourism and developing that side. So I don't think they would actually stop the Umrah visas in their, like the tourist visas in their current condition. I think it would be a smarter move to actually leave them and encourage more people to go, especially if we are, as people say, and we are kind of entering into a recession now. I mean, Umrah travel has always been one of those things that will happen no matter what. There are people who will always want to go for Umrah. So having the tourist visa and the availability to actually, explore the rest of Saudi Arabia is a smarter move than actually canceling the Umrah visas. The tourist visa or the Umrah part of the tourist visa. Because while you are there, you want to explore, and you will be able, hopefully, to explore different places. And it might be cheaper than, let's say, go to, I don't know, nearby countries like Dubai, Oman, or I don't know, Jordan. It just might be better that you stay there, you go for Umrah, you go to Medina, you go to Jeddah, or you go to Riyadh, for example. And I've heard great things about other cities in Saudi Arabia. From friends who recently moved there, and they're loving it. So it might be a good opportunity. And now they have all these cinema complexes and all these shopping malls. And we went to Jeddah to a shopping mall, and I was like, am I really in Jeddah,
Yeah.
or am I, am I in another country like Dubai, or like, obviously they're not as big and as fancy, but they are pretty much standard, excellent malls.
I mean, Saudi has changed a lot in the last 6 to 12 months.
Yes,
And
yes,
anybody that maybe had been 3, 4 years ago, or even 2 years ago, and travel now will
yes,
see a huge difference. And let's face it, some people will welcome it. I think a lot of people will actually not welcome it because of the nature of traveling to Saudi over the past few generations has been solely for
yeah,
pilgrimage.
yeah,
How the Saudi government managed that, I think they can't necessarily achieve 2030 vision without being able to manage the pilgrimage side of it, and
yeah,
manage it very well, because a lot of those pilgrims that will come will ultimately be tourists, and
yeah,
that's going to be
exactly.
a big part of their growth.
I think the parts of the Umrah are getting better. I mean, they have the train, which was very unfortunate with the fire in the central station,
Yeah,
but the train is a fantastic way to move around.
yeah,
They did handle it well by trying to kind of open different routes. They opened the new airport to help pilgrimage. So, they have the right infrastructure built, or they are building it. So I don't think they would remove the tourist visa part of Umrah. I think they will continue it because they want more pilgrimage, and there are more hotels being built in Mecca and Medina,
yeah.
um, which is also a good factor, because as a traveler, I don't know how it affects the industry, from an industry perspective, but prices have gone down. There's more competition now. So even in the peak time where hotel prices were like 300 and 400 pounds several years ago, now you can find them for 100, 150,
Yeah.
even in the peak of Christmas time or Easter, for example.
Yeah, I think there are some customers who welcome the fact that everything is quite close, but there's other customers that obviously feel that they're actually outpriced in some ways, and to get slightly lower prices, they have to be slightly outside of the of the walking distance of the Haram, maybe in Azizia, for example, or going to somewhere like the Millennium PM Hotel, taking that shuttle. I mean, there's some really, I mean, you can stay at some of those hotels for 30, 40 pounds a night. They're absolute
And
bargain.
they're very new, they're brand new.
And they're brand new hotels.
Yeah.
And, if you're looking to reduce the cost of an Umrah, those are really good options.
Yeah.
Well, although, they're not within walking distance, the shuttle services are there and it still provides you with a good stay. To sort of wrap up, going towards the end of this year, how do you feel that, what is your advice for Umrah pilgrims this year? When should they start thinking about planning an Umrah trip? And, none of us know the future, but
Because
roughly, when do you think this will start again?
I think, to be on the safe side of things, I wouldn't advise anyone booking Umrah now. Neither Hajj, to be honest. I know a lot of people were looking to go after Ramadan because it's quieter and it's cheaper. And now with the tourist visa, we were actually allowed to go. So you could go up until, I think the date was July, mid-July.
Yeah.
You could go. So you had plenty of time after Ramadan. I would encourage people not to. And then for the Hajj season, it opened up after the 7th of September, I think.
Yeah.
I would ideally, if I was to start looking for Umrah, book after that period. So
Yeah.
you have time to cancel now. Hotels and a lot of companies like you, they offer protection. So if you have to cancel closer to that date, potentially you can.
Yeah.
I wouldn't book anything and prepay. But I would look after September,
Yeah.
definitely, just to be on the safer side and see that they have opened.
And we're promoting a lot of the flexible options rather than going with the
Yeah,
non-refundable option. You're probably spending maybe 100, 150 pounds more, but it gives you that flexibility where you don't have to rely on a hotel
exactly.
policy or an airlines policy. Customers calling us can
Exactly.
also book what we call in the industry IT fares. So it means we don't have to actually ticket those flights until closer to the time, again providing you with flexibility. So there's ways.
That's a good point.
There's ways to do it. Yeah, there's ways to do it.
Yeah. So basically, if you want to book something, if you want to have the security that you can go to the dates you want, you can call you or find a way of doing it. But then you don't have to pay any money closer to the day. So when you know the things are opening up, which is I didn't know that. That's actually a very, very good point, because then you have more protection over what might happen.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, if you book anywhere online, you will have to pay up front, most likely, for your flights, and they'll probably be non-refundable, non-changeable. But for £30-40 extra per person, you can have that.
Oh, it's money worth spent.
Oh, easy.
In this case, especially when I mean, even my own travel insurance sent an email out saying, oh, when you have a travel insurance, you're covered, but we don't cover like coronavirus related travel. And I'm like, what's the point of having a travel insurance then?
That could be a whole new session.
Emergency. Yes. Yeah, exactly. So I think it's fantastic, but I wouldn't suggest people booking anything until after September, October, when we have a clear picture of how Corona is going in the world.
We could definitely do with a clearer picture, couldn't we? Right. Well, thank you very much, Elena. That's really insightful, and I'm sure anybody that's looking to travel for Umrah, check out MuslimTravelGirl.com. We've got a whole load of resources there. Now's the time to read through them and get the best advice in planning your next.
Prepare yourself.
Prepare yourself. Yeah. Just a reminder to everybody, you can enter.
Who's our winner?
Yeah, absolutely. Just a quick reminder to everybody, you can enter our competition, rihaala.com/TTEA, and for your chance to win £100 Rihaala travel voucher, which you could use for an Umrah trip one day, inshallah. And today's winner is Saman Rahi. So we'll be in touch with you very shortly.
Congratulations.
Provide you.
Maybe he can use his £100 towards Umrah.
Exactly, that's like 4 nights in Makkah on a good deal. There you go.
Exactly.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
No problem. And we'll
have a good day.
Bye.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.